Hey everybody, it's Tim Hinton, the Beast of the Marching Arts. We are talking about why you need a mentor, how we've created this new mentor service. Believe me, it's a lot more interesting than it might sound at first. So I want you to pay attention and listen to this. I'm here with Tyson Wooters. Tyson, how are you?
I'm doing great, Tim. How are you today?
I'm doing great. There's so much going on. We're about to celebrate Podcast 1000 on Monday. And then on July 1st, we're starting a whole webinar series where we're going to be talking to all the different cores that are in the DCS celebration this year. So there's a lot of exciting stuff going on. But the most exciting thing is this week we sort of officially launched on our website at Marching Arts Education, in partnership with Leaders Creating Leaders, we have this new LCL Mentor service. Go to lclmentors.com. It'll take you right there and you can find out about it. And Tyson, you're from Leaders Creating Leaders. Thank you for letting us at Marching Arts Education sort of help make this happen and help you get this mentor service off the ground.
Thank you. And thank you for being on the team and letting us be on your team. It's been an honor and quite a it's been quite a neat thing to be part of this and working with you. And I feel like through this partnership, we're going to help a lot more people than we would have otherwise. So your facilitation there is huge.
Well, great. Well, certainly the goal is, I think this is really valuable. I mean, I have talked about doing mentors. I've tried starting mentoring things in the past because everybody needs to have a mentor. And there are a lot of you watching this may be thinking, okay, well, I have somebody that I can call if I need help. It's in my, that's awesome if you have a mentor or an advisor or a colleague. But unfortunately, Tyson, a lot of people are out there and they really don't have that person to call, especially somebody in their world, who is also in the world of music education, of marching, whatever part of it they need help with. So I love that you had this idea to make sure they had that help.
Thank you. Yeah, and there's another piece of it too, because there's the scenario where you don't have somebody to call, but then there's the scenario where you have somebody that you think you can call, and you can call them, but they're another band director, they're running their own program, or it's your old college professor and they're running their program. There's a difference in the amount of availability to a person or how engaged they're going to be directly in your world if they have another fire to be putting out back in their house, right? And so I always felt like there was more potential there on both sides of that. So there's this young band director who doesn't call and reach out because we're not good at asking for help. That's nothing bad about young band directors. That's human beings. And then there's the other person who, when they do ask for help, may or may not have capacity to really offer what they're looking for. So I was looking to hack that system essentially for the benefit of both the music education prof or the band director who's taking those calls, and then the younger band director who just needs some help.
Right. And what I love about this is if you sign up for these sessions at lclmentors.com, then you can have a certain person on the team that's the one that always helps you, which I think is great to build this ongoing relationship. Or it can be, here's what I need help with. Who's the expert on your team that's really good at that? And Tyson, you've put together this fantastic team of people from all sorts of different backgrounds and levels of expertise and age groups and the whole thing. That makes the team very valuable, that I can't imagine that anybody would have an issue and that somebody on your team wouldn't be really good at helping them figure it out or give them some advice or help guide them through their own situation to figure out what they need.
Yeah, that's true. And that's how we chose the team. And we're still expanding the team. I'm actually meeting with one more person today about jumping on, because we need to be ready with whatever that call is. And we talk all the time about the younger directors that we're kind of aiming at here, but truth is any director could use us, and what of us hasn't gotten some drill that didn't quite work, and we didn't realize it until we got to the field, and there's a fire you got to put out. So there's lots of like kind of that emergency use, and then I like the idea too of a regular deal. That was the original idea, was like private lessons or like getting a personal trainer and just go every 2 weeks. But I think more flexibility has been nice.
So we're talking about lclmentors.com. That stands for Leaders Creating Leaders, which is the company that Tyson started. And we've taken that great grand company and sort of pulled out this particular service. So LCL stands for Leaders Creating Leaders. If you go to lclmentors.com, you'll see there it is. It explains how it works. You can find out who the mentors are on the team. You can see little videos with them or read their bios, all kinds of information there. But you're right, Tyson, the original concept, which is really great. And if I was a young, like first-year teacher, fifth-year teacher, I know there are things that I'm not great at. I mean, you can't be good at everything. Band directors have to be able to do so much.
Yeah.
So I love the idea of having somebody I can count on. I know every couple of weeks I'm going to get on a Zoom call or a phone call with them and say, okay, now here's what I'm dealing with. And have you been in this situation before?
Mm-hmm.
when I talked to Gary Rupert, who's one of your really smart mentors and sort of coaches for people like this, I love how he talked about they're not just going to tell you what to do, because that's not what you need. You need somebody to talk about your situation, what your strengths are, what your situation is, and then help you figure out what you need. That's a really different thing than just somebody, what do I do? But in other words, you know what, I'm going to give you 30 minutes of my time, and we're going to talk about this in a nice, friendly, relaxed conversation. Tyson, that is a fantastic environment for people to be able to grow comfortably.
I think so. And that's a big part of it, actually, is that long-term relationship. So my dream scenario for especially a younger director would be to do the every couple of weeks thing. And I do have a couple that are doing that over the summer now, which is really great, actually, to get lined up. So do that. And then also think about all these other coaches. Because if you're working with me every few weeks over the course of time, I get to know you really well. And I might think, oh, Gary has some wisdom for you this next time. Oh, you're talking about recruiting? Well, we'll pull in James. Oh, you want to talk about readiness? Well, that's a topic for John. So we have this team, and it's expanding. And there's times now where I've talked to those students I'm coaching, those directors I'm working with, talk to them about taking a week off from me and trying another coach, or just adding another coach in for some specific session. So there really can be the best of both worlds there.
Yeah, it's really smart. And the other thing I love, of course, we were talking about LCL Mentors at lclmentors.com. It's a new service to help people get the advice and sort of support that they need. And as we've said before, there are a lot of people out there that are sort of in the wasteland by themselves, and they really don't know how to figure out something or how to get better, or that ongoing support. It's not like their administration and the other teachers aren't there for them. But if you're a music educator, it's a very specific job. And there are things that come up that only another music educator can probably really give you the best advice you might need. But anyway, I love that idea of doing this. And we also talk about this sort of emergency thing. I love the idea that as a director, I could like sign up for my eight 30-minute sessions. And then, okay, I've got those banked. And then, like you said, my drum guy cannot figure out how to fix something with his bass drums, or the guard person can't get a transition during the show, or one of my drill instructors is having an issue with a parent or a student. Like, all of these things are things where you can say, okay, let's go find that mentor. Let's have that 30-minute call and get that advice and figure this out and start to get a game plan for how to handle this situation. As a director, I love the idea of like having this team of experts in my back pocket that I could access when I needed them.
Yeah, and now check this out. If with one of my mentees here, looks like I'm going to meet with the principal, and I've found I wanted to say something to him about, here, I'm kind of working on your turf here. I want to let you know I'm around, and just kind of a courtesy call, but also working on the relationship with, that actual relationship with the principal. I talked with this person about how does that principal want to use his time, for example, or how does he want interaction? How does he want the problem presented, and what is the solution? How are we going to get there? And so even just that sort of managing up of working with the principal in this case, or the assistant principal, or we could talk about the booster program, has been a really, I think, it goes in the category probably of those unknown unknowns, the things you cannot see from here, and that you can't see them. And those are tricky.
So we're talking about LCL Mentors at lclmentors.com. And if you know somebody who's in a situation where they could use some expert help, somebody just to have a conversation with, or somebody to start figuring out, okay, I need a 5-year plan for my program, or I'm having this issue trying to get parents involved. How do we do better? Again, I've said this before on these other conversations, but yes, there's information out there. I mean, here at the Marching Roundtable, there are podcasts, there are webinars, there are things you can go on our website and learn from. And I encourage everybody to do that, of course. That's why we're here. But sometimes you need to have a conversation with somebody in your business, in your activity, about your own situation. Okay, I've watched a webinar about building a booster program, getting parents involved, whatever. But I need to talk to somebody about my specific dynamic, where I am in my community, at my school. And then having somebody, say like Gary or John, or somebody who's been a director for a long time, has seen every kind of situation and has built successful programs, they're going to have advice. But again, they're not going to tell you what to do. They're going to help guide you through the conversation to figure out how to do it. Tyson, I think this is a really cool thing that you've created here that could help a lot of people.
Me too. That is the point of it. I just looked around and thought, how many people do I know, directors or musicians or whatever, who need something, and how many other people do I know who have something, and all we got to do is just connect the dots there. And so there's just a lot more room for more and deeper connections and closer connections in the band world in general, and that's really the big game here.
Yeah, and I think that really, again, it can be almost any topic. If you're a drill designer, if you are a music arranger, if you are a band parent, if you're a band director who's trying to do so many things, if you're anybody out there at any point in our activity that's trying to figure out how to move forward, how to make the right choices, how to fix something that isn't working well for you, or how to get better at something, like, there's somebody on this team that can really help you figure that out. And so contact us. Go to lclmentors.com, read about it. If you just want to find out more about it, there's a place there where you can contact us. Well, even if you're not sure if this is right for you, Tyson, you were very nice. We're offering people 1 30-minute call or Zoom call or whatever, and let them sort of get the feel of how this might work. And if you're in a situation where you absolutely know there is no budget for me, your administration won't help you, your band boosters can't help you, we're also making sure that nobody gets turned away, that there's a way that we have on our end to make sure that you still get that help and can talk to that mentor expert.
Yeah, and that's an important piece for me. We can't run the business for free, I guess, but there's enough people out there that don't have a budget or don't know how to get to their budget or whatever. We just want to help. And so if I can Zoom in and it costs me 30 minutes or an hour or some prep time or whatever, that's a reasonable place to start a relationship with a person. And if you're going to be a band director for 20 or 30 or 40 years, then I want to be able to help you for that entire time. That is the stated goal here.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that it's possible to create a mentoring relationship that would be ongoing, so that you know that you have somebody that knows you and knows your program over the long term to help you. Because I can tell you, it doesn't matter if you're a band director for 1 year, or like you said, if you're in year 40, there's still something that you're being challenged with that you could grow through, that you need to learn. Again, that's the concept of us here at Marching Arts Education.
Right.
There's always more to learn. Here's the thing I love, Tyson. I get these. I'm really lucky because I get to have all these conversations with like the top people, like the person teaching the brass line at Carolina Crown, or the person designing the shows at the Blue Devils. Like, these are like super successful.
I'm a little jealous of this part of your job.
Yeah, I'm so lucky to get to do this. But the thing I love about it is when you talk to somebody who's really excelling at that level, they are the first one to say, "Man, I still have so much to learn."
Yeah.
And they also say, I'm happy to share what I know with anybody, because I don't want everybody making all those mistakes I made as I was making my way. So there's no ego. There's not like, oh, I'm not going to tell anybody what I'm doing. They're happy to tell you, because I tell you, Tyson, they know that there's some special sauce going on with them, so that even if they told you everything they know, they're not threatened by it. They just want everybody to do better, and they want every student in every group to have a better experience. I feel like that's your concept too.
It is, and that's a real important point, because you can't be rolling up to your mentor meeting in person or on Zoom or otherwise and be afraid of asking the question that's going to get you berated or made fun of for asking a stupid question or whatever. So that has to be out. We have to be trusting each other, and that so that piece of you got to be able to trust. I guess if you're going to call us, you should know the person you end up talking to is going to be like nice and compassionate, in addition to the advice that may come from them,
And, I got to tell you, if you're not sure about that, I just edited all these videos. Go to lclmentors.com. At the bottom of the page, click on Meet the Mentors, meet the experts, whatever. And you'll go to the page where there's a little video with each one, and you will see they're all very approachable. They've all been there. None of them seem like they would be difficult to talk to, because they're not. That's the way you've put your team together, Tyson. Everybody.
Right. We didn't bring any divas on the team. That's on purpose.
And they may like be at diva status, but they are not going to be that with you, because that's the thing, Tyson, is sort of my point is, those people that really are doing this well, they know what it's like to be your first year, your fifth year, be having challenges. They've been there. They've all known, oh man, there's stuff I don't know. And they've had somebody guide them through and help them. And that's why they're happy to share. And that's what I love about your team. They've all been there. They all know what that struggle can be. They all know all those issues, and they want to help. And I love this LCL Mentors thing we have going on.
I'm excited about it too. And even, even some stuff that's maybe a little unconventional. If you think about band directors, like if you look at our coach lineup and you look at Veronica, it's not, she's a band mom actually, but that's not what she got on the list for. But all the band directors I know, I noticed early on when I was in high school and I decided to be a band director, I noticed early that most of the directors I know were three things: deaf, divorced, and addicted to coffee. And so Veronica's got some experience with some really important communication models. She's a professor of communication, and she's Gottman trained in terms of Gottman is a marriage therapist, actually, very famous one. So, there's a lot of different kinds of help here, and we're expanding that menu, as it were, for those different types of experience that might be helpful to you.
So if you have any questions about this, you can always reach me at tim@marketingroundtable.com, of course. Or like I said, there's a place there on the lclmentors.com and the landing page where you can contact us if you want to ask some questions or want to hear more. So Tyson, thanks for having this conversation with me. I love that we're doing this.
Me too.
I hope people get the word, that they hear about it, that they take a chance on it. And even if they already are well taken care of, they have a colleague or they know somebody who probably could use this. And we hope that if that's you, that you'll share that with somebody. Just like I say, if you hear a webinar, you see a webinar, you hear a podcast, and you're like, man, that was really helpful to me. You also know somebody else that could benefit. So we hope that you'll share that too. Tyson, final thoughts before we go.
My final thought would be that's the real opportunity here is like, if you're watching this right now and you're a director and you're like, maybe this would be good, maybe not. Somebody who needs it. Somebody in their first or second year, or maybe in their 10th year, but they're in a small town. They're the only horse in the one horse town, and they don't have somebody they can call, or goodness knows what. Sharing this with other people, activating your network so that they can get the help they need, is a big concept behind LCL. So share this around and let us know how we can help. We're here.
All right, great. Well, go to lclmentors.com, find out all about it. If you have questions, be in touch with us. Tyson, thanks for partnering with Marketing Arts Education to sort of help get this out there, make this accessible to people, and we're excited to be a part of it.
Oh, thank you. Same.
All right, everybody have an awesome day. Tyson, it's great talking to you.
You too. See you, everybody. Thank you.